Our genetic makeup accounts for only about 10% of the diseases we suffer. Most are due to environmental factors such as the air we breathe, the food we eat and the lives we lead. I'm Dr. Joff Lacey and I'm here in London, England to find out about a groundbreaking project that plans to map the risks posed to us by our surroundings. The Exposomics project is a European Commission-funded project that plans to map the effect that our lifetime exposure to the environment has on our bodies and our development of disease. This could be groundbreaking when it comes to predicting or preventing disease. Professor Paolo Vernese is the general coordinator of the project.
We are looking at several diseases that we think may be related to pollution, including lung cancer, cardiovascular disease, respiratory diseases, asthma in children, and neurodevelopment. We try to link measurements of pollutants in the environment with the changes in molecules and with diseases.
So the big step forward with this project compared to research in the past is looking at the molecular changes that pollutants have and how that then might impact development of disease.
Yes, yeah.
One of the key measurements being tested in cities across Europe is the effect that air pollution has on our bodies and our health. Hundreds of volunteers are involved, and in London, the test is taking place on Oxford Street, one of the most polluted streets in the city.
Hard, very good.
So Eddie's just having his baseline breathing tests, so he's looking at how fast he can blow out air and also the volume within his lungs. And then he's going to go on the 2-hour walk up and down Oxford Street, and then they'll repeat the tests after to see if there's any change in those results. And so aside from the lung function tests you're doing now, is there any other monitoring or testing you do?
We've got a whole series of investigations that we sort of spend 2.5 hours in the morning doing before we come out here. Laura and Eddie have both got 24-hour ECG monitors on. So that's
measuring their heart.
That's right.
And then you'll have the monitoring of the heart throughout for the next
20 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Rudy, can you take me through what this very impressive looking backpack is?
So essentially we're monitoring air pollution in real time. We're measuring different sizes of the particles.
Yeah.
We're measuring carbon as well. And we're measuring also very, very fine particles that are quite unique to diesel engines as well.
So then you'll know exactly the kind of air that the volunteers have been breathing in a 2-hour walk. So today you've got 2 hours walking up and down.
To absorb all the lovely fumes.
So what made you get involved with this, Rudy?
Well, I have quite advanced COPD, you see. So.
I do, so you've got a lung condition. So
Indeed, I have.
That's chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, so quite a...
Mostly emphysema. But of course they reckon that the biggest cause of COPD is smoking.
Yeah.
But I haven't smoked for decades.
Yeah.
My specialist thinks I'm unlucky.
Yeah.
He said he can't explain it exactly. He can't correlate exact cause and effect. So.
Eddie's case is a classic example of the unclear link between our exposure to the environment and the diseases we suffer from, and is what the research team are trying to address. And so I suppose it's very pertinent to you that if this research achieves its goal, then potentially your condition could have been prevented. You could have been told early on you're at risk of developing this, and you could have changed your lifestyle and avoided that.
Indeed.
Development.
Well, I'm sure that's the case, yes.
And blow hard, good. Keep blowing.
So Eddie's just having his lung function test done again, having just walked around the street for 2 hours. Just to see if there's any changes from his test done before the walk. So.
Brilliant, well done.
And Rudy, we're now going to go back to the Brompton hospital.
That's right, yeah. We're going to go back and we're going to continue a series of tests, basically the ones we did this morning. We're going to repeat lung function at several time points. We're going to do various other breathing tests.
Eddie's about to have his blood test done, which is another of the tests that have been done after his walk down Oxford Street. And really, what are these blood tests going to be looking for then?
So we're looking at markers of inflammation.
Okay.
And we're going to compare these to the test we did before this morning, before we went out on the walk. And we're also looking at markers that relate to cardiovascular risk as well.
The data from Eddie's test is added to the results of the volunteers from all across Europe. The blood from the Oxford Street volunteers is brought to King's College London. So this is where some of the samples in the Exposomics project are analysed, is that
Yes,
right?
that's right. They come here and we start with the blood samples, isolate the protein, digest it up and then analyse it for changes resulting from the environmental exposures.
The hope is that with all the results from across Europe, the team will be able to create a very specific understanding of how our bodies are affected by our environment.
In terms of public health, knowing who is at high risk is very valuable information for targeting preventative approaches. We know that air pollution is bad for human health.
Yeah.
We want to know how bad, which particular components are most responsible for that, and how we can measure accurately that those people who've been exposed and therefore those people who are at risk. You know, the whole purpose of this is to try and stop people becoming ill, to identify those at risk and intervene before they become ill.